Hello everyone, I'm Christopher Tan and welcome to Providend's Money Wisdom, an original podcast inspired by my book Money Wisdom, Simple Truths for Financial Wellness. In this podcast, I'll be sharing simple financial truths to guide you in navigating through the minefields of misinformation and false promises in order to achieve financial security and peace of mind. Effects of a fast food nation. I seldom have time for TV programs, let alone watch a movie. But when I read the reviews on the documentary movie Food Inc., I felt that I had to take some time off to watch the documentary since it promised that you will never see food the same way again. True to its words, director Robert Kenner exposes often shocking truths about what we eat, how it is produced, and what the cost to our health is. In the bid to produce food faster and at a higher profit margin for a world that is growing to be fast food nations, chickens are grown in small coops with little light and no space for movements. They grow faster and fatter, but with bad organs and a body that is too weak to even walk. Cows are fed with corn instead of grass, and because they are not created to eat corn, they develop the harmful bacteria E. coli, which we subsequently eat in beef. All of this could have contributed to a number of deaths in the US. I came out of the show more conscious of the food that I eat. But more than that, I reflected on whether financial planning, wealth advice, wealth management sector was mainly operating to close sales quickly, and if so, the impact of this. You see, true and good quality financial planning entails a comprehensive process of understanding a client's needs for certain investment returns, his ability to bear the risk because of the returns that he needs, and finally, how willing is he to bear that risk. This must be done before any recommendations are given. To understand the client's needs for returns, and therefore risk, we may require hours before we can understand his current financial situation, his life goals, his life aspirations, his value towards money, and many more, including his financial objectives. To understand his ability, we will need to spend time understanding his existing insurance portfolio, his health, his family commitments, his current investment portfolios, in fact, many more factors. It is a process that takes hours of work and many meetings to complete. The current industry minimum requirement is a simple risk profile questionnaire which only measures the third part of the process, a person's willingness to bear risk. And this is insufficient for good advice. Well, many years ago, the mini bonds case was uncovered. That was a classic example. As a medium to high risk product, mini bonds are not suitable for investors who only have conservative needs and can only be conservative. Even if he is willing to take medium to high risk, he really should not be advised to buy the product. I have no doubt that there are relationship managers who genuinely want to do a good job, but sadly, it will be tough for them to do so on most financial institutions' platform. The real reason stems from the fact that most financial institutions are not made for financial planning, just like cows are not made to eat corn. Customer, very seldom will walk into financial institutions with the intention to stay for hours for financial advice. They are there just to do a transaction. It is nearly impossible for relationship managers to spend hours finding out from customers their most private information without customers bringing their financial documents, and especially so if they are meeting the customers for the first time. But with the fear of losing the sales opportunity once the customers leave the bank, salespeople have to sell the product fast by simply doing the minimum, the risk profile questionnaire. It meets regulatory requirement, but fails in achieving high-quality advice standards. Besides processes, the quality of advisors is paramount to crafting competent advice. To give reasonably sound financial advice, I believe one should have at least a tertiary education and a professional certification such as those offered under the CFP or Certified Financial Planning Program or Certified Financial Planner Program, and some years of experience. I mean, if we expect our doctors, lawyers, and accountants to be so, why should we expect less from someone who will be managing our life savings and hard-earned income? In its pursuit for fast revenue growth, financial institutions and many financial advisory companies have been recruiting relationship managers and advisors en masse. Some financial advisory companies have grown their advisors from 3 to 500 and today even 1,000 in just a few years. Many of these advisors are fresh out from school and have been attracted by the lucrative compensation of this industry. I have written many years ago in the Business Times that in earlier days that the only way you can recruit at that rate is when you are growing a sales organization and not a professional advisory organization. I mean, how can you be attracting experienced, good quality financial advisors at that rate unless you are promising large quote-unquote sign-on incentives, which is a practice that raises a whole host of other issues? I'm of course not despising the youth, but maybe we should put fresh graduates on pupillage for a year at least before allowing them to handle people's financial affairs, something that is as serious as our legal or health matters. We do the same for lawyers and doctors too, don't we? And so in my firm today, we have the Associate Advisors Program, whereby would-be advisors will come in and to be trained, put on a pupillage for at least 1 to 2 years before they can be full-fledged client advisors. And even when they become full-fledged client advisors, they are heavily supervised. Currently, the financial advisory industry measures success of advisors by their sales and whether they achieve awards such as the $1 Million Roundtable. And today, in fact, many advisors are achieving 3 times $1 Million Roundtable, or NDRT in short, which is called COT, Court of Table, or even 6 times MDRT, which is called TOT, Top of the Table. Well, the awards sounds good, but this has nothing to do with the quality of advice, because these awards are really for sales achievement. Food Inc. encourages people to demand of food companies what is good for them as a matter of consumer rights. I urge clients to do the same with financial institutions. You deserve quality advice. The documentary had encouraged people to have their own small farms. I encourage you to educate yourself as much as you can. Nobody cares about your wealth more than yourself. And when choosing an institution to be your advisor, do not choose a platform that is primarily set up for transaction rather than in-depth wealth management discussions. Insist on a process that allows you plenty of time to discuss with your advisor and to make decisions. Insist on a qualified advisor. Big firms with fast growth should raise a red flag. Thank you for tuning in to Providend's Money Wisdom. I will be back soon with the next episode. For more information on my book or Providend's services, kindly visit providend.com. I'll see you the next time. All analysis, views or opinions from interviews, recommendations and other information broadcasted, podcasted or published herein are provided for general information purposes only. Information expressed does not take into account any specific situation, particular needs or objectives, and should not be construed as specific advice or a recommendation. Information has been obtained from sources that are deemed to be reliable, but their accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed. Always consult with a qualified investment, legal or tax professional before taking any action. Providend Limited does not accept any liability for any loss whatsoever arising from any use of the information broadcasted, podcasted, or published herein. All contents and information contained herein may not be copied or reproduced in whole or in part by any means without prior written consent of Providend Limited.